A very good evening to one and all. I am Dr. Prabhakar Swami, IQC coordinator of Mahatma Phule Mahavidyalaya, Kingaon. I heartily welcome today's honorable resource person, Dr. Bhavana ma'am. Ma'am is working as an assistant professor, SNBP College of Arts, Commerce, Science and Management Studies, Morwadi, Pune. But ma'am is basically belong from the Bihar. She is having well interest in management studies. So not taking much time between you and her because she is having she has published near about more research papers in a reputed journal. Also she has edited some books. She has a very good experience in a teaching, near about 10 years experience she is having in a teaching learning process. So not taking much time between you and her, I welcome Dr. Bhavna Miss Bhavna Shrestha ma'am, and have her talk. Welcome ma'am.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Uh, Good evening, everyone, and happy Navratri to everyone. So,
Do you want to share your screen?
yeah, I want to share.
You can share. Just share. Yes, ma'am, it is visible. Just a
Is
slide
it
show it and proceed.
okay? Is it visible?
Huh?
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So it's had been late. So without wasting, I think I should start it. Okay. So today's my topic is financial literacy and personal finance. So as I have started decided this topic as it is a very important topic for everyone to know each and everything about the financial literacy. So yeah. So my I want to say why financial literacy is important. As it is important because we try to get our we try to manage our finances. As it is because managing finance is very important for the today's world, for each and everyone, in fact for youth or for any person, whether he is old or young. So because the use of money that is out of control for it is not possible for everyone to properly control it. So it's very important that how we invest our money in all the sections, whether it is in the stock market, whether in the debt area, or whether in the fixed deposits area, in the banking section, wherever it is. So why financial literacy is important? Yeah, so we can say that it helps in increase our savings, and still after knowing the financial literacy, we try to invest it wherever it is important. So the next question that arises is why we have the problem of money. So we can say we have the problem of money because the income is very low, there is no work. Most of the majority of the population in India, especially in youths, we don't have enough work to do and don't have sufficient income. So this creates the problem for sufficient financial investing. So of course this problem ultimately creates a problem of further issues like domestic concern and problem within a family. So the lack of managing our money finances help to manage our money and finances properly. So ultimately, we come to the topic that what is financial literacy? So it is the ability to effectively evaluate and manage one's finances in order to make prudent decisions towards reaching life's goal. Of course, we have several life's goals, not only regarding for the old age, but also we have the students have the life goals to make further good studies at the foreign, or to take the further studies to the higher level for the jobs, and further for the person who are married or who have family, they need required to make the proper decisions regarding the monetary issues. So it is very important to take the financial literacy out of that. So the major topic that is required to be understand under the financial literacy is money, sorry, money, cash flow, basic economic or financial concept, debt or risk management. That means what is the importance of money? We earn money, but it's not only for wasting it or for the expenditure, but it is what is the why it is important, how much it helps in our further developing areas. Cash flow, that means what are the income and expenditures that is required for further understanding that how we should make the proper budgeting of that. And the basic economics and financial concepts that helps in us knowing what are the savings, what are investing, what are the risks, what are the debt area, or what are the credits. This sector helps us to know that what are the type, what are the things that comes under the topic of financial literacy. So what is the need of financial literacy? Why it is important? As further we can see that from a first point, that is from the statistical point, that in South Asian countries, that is a 25% adults are financially literate. So this means that 76% of the adult population who does not understand even the basic concept of financial literacy. That is very horrible that some people know how to explain the things, how to manage their monetary issues, and most of the people do not know, since they have mostly expenditures that the today's youth only make some expenditures on clothes and other things, which does not come under the basic necessity. It comes under the want area. So this is the very important part, that is everyone should know how much financial literacy is important. The second factor is demographic factor. As we know that the Indian most of the people here are young in comparison to the Western countries, right? So that the joining force, that workforce that today that join grow older, and to meet their living expenses and medical expenses in old age. So it is very important that the demographic factor is the major factor in our country, especially because the all the because this factor ultimately helps in the creating problems. So the next factor is our social factor. So the social factor, that is the social factors. Here comes the problem of nuclear family. That means the nuclear family has a lot of prevalent, and older people, my age group, may not be someone's mic is on, I think. So nuclear family is a very important factor for the social factor, because it have becoming a lot prevalent, and since the older people do not live in the joint family because at joint family do not exist majorly. What is the main thing is that today the company, or we can say the industry, makes a target advertisement to the people. That means they provide a lots of goods and services attractive a lot to the target consumers, so that they spend a lot, and ultimately they protect and promote the interest of the peoples as well. So this helps in rise of consumerism, and further from this point, there is an increase of credit cards that we can see the lots of cases that we generally get a phone calls over we get a phone call for the credit cards and from the many banks or the private banks or from for the loan. Why it is? Because people are investing in these things, especially in goods and services, so which is not really required, but people hardly save the money. So it is very important that the financial literacy should be there. So the next factor is economic factor. That is the advent of private sector and the slower government hirings result in more people to join in private sector. So here what is that in private sector the people generally get perks, allowances, healthcare benefits and pensions which government jobs offer, but there is no offering such case in private organization, which ultimately creates problem for everyone, because we can see that in the organization which do not have enough area to grow or which is on working on the lower space, so these organizations do not provide pension plans or healthcare benefits, anything like that. So ultimately we have to manage everything from our salary which we are getting or from the wages which the people are getting. So economic factor plays a major role, because ultimately for the when we grow older, the planning for retirement is very important, and that is and this planning can only be done only when we get the financial adequate financial knowledge that how we have to prepare for the future. So again we come to the topic of personal finance. As we know that the financial literacy is very important, but the thing is that the personal finance, the this is very important to understand. So personal finance refers to the management of individuals' finance. That means what is majorly important is that is a planning, budgeting, saving, investing, and managing debts. So personal finance is management of one's own finance. That means how we are managing our monetary issues, how we are saving, how we are managing our expenditures. That is very important for each and everyone to know. So what are the major areas or the key aspects to understand the personal finance? So the major areas are budgeting, emergency fund, saving and investment, insurance, and debt management, tax planning, retirement planning, and investment diversification. So firstly, we come to the topic of budgeting. Why budgeting is important? Because when we make our budget, that is the monthly budget, that how much we have to spend, how much we have to save, that is very important. And we have should allocate that how much we are making an expenses. That means whenever we make expenses, we make lots of expenses, and we literally don't think that how much we are expending. Just we think that we have the income and we expenses a lot. But at the same time, what about the savings? There is no track of saving, that how much we are saving and how much further it may help. So basically the most important things that firstly we should make are the budget, like what we are needed to save first and how much we need to expense, since the budgeting also helps in lessening decreasing of expenses. Next is emergency fund. Emergency fund is that we met in our life unexpected events. Okay, that is like financial safety is very important, and unexpected events like any medical emergencies or loss of job or any emergency which we get in our family. Okay, so at that time the funds are really very much required. But if we don't save, if we don't manage our finance, what will happen? We will unable to meet that emergency. We don't unexpected events. So this may also help, do not help. So personal finances in the emergency fund or in the cases of emergency is very important. So next is saving and investment. So why saving and investment is important? Since saving and investment help in the helps in the personal to manage our finances properly. So if we properly think that from our income, that we are required to save 20% or 40% firstly, and then we have to think about the expenses, then it may help in the proper financial. So investment like fixed deposit, mutual funds, government schemes like PPF, EPF, or the from the post office scheme, wherever it is important for each and everyone to make the investment wherever the area you like, or wherever the area which you think that you may get the proper earning or proper return. That is a very important. Next is insurance. Of course, the insurance, term insurance is everyone are everyone know properly, as insurance helps in every aspect. We can see that if we purchase a bike even, so we get an insurance for the bikes. And of course, we have the health insurance areas like LIC and many other insurance company that protects our ourselves and especially our family in the unexpected financial events or the burdens at the time of medical issues or the any emergencies. We have the organizations like insurance which provide us from the mishaps, from the unexpected events. So the various insurance we have like car insurance and home insurance, which helps in the furthering to protect our interests from the unexpected issues. So next is debt management. So debt management is what? That is the avoid excessive debt. Means when we debt means especially we take debt from the people that sometimes we are in required. But when we try to manage our personal finance betterly, we are not required to take loans from any person or anyone. But since our expenditures are more than required, we likely to take credit cards from the banks on the high interest or whatever it is. Why? Because we are not going to stay at the proper point that we have to limit our expenditures on this point. We have lots of things to purchase and lots of interest that we should have this in order to maintain our social status or whatever we can say. So the debt management should be excessively avoided, especially on high interest debt. So because if we are having so much credits from anyone, from the organization or from the any person, we at the particular time we are unable to pay off the on this time. So the personal finances should be that we should not take much debt from anything, especially from the credit cards also. Next is tax planning. So under the personal finance, tax planning is very important because we have the tax system in India, and whatever we earn from our day-to-day or from the income or from the salary, whatever we earn from our business, we are needed to pay taxes. But there are so much tax deductions and savings and many opportunities are there under the income tax sections that we can take the advantage of such thing, and we can make up sufficient tax planning in order to make our income tax return accurately and on time. So if we manage each and everything, because on certain if we make investment in mutual funds, there are provision for taxation. If we make investment on fixed deposit, there are provision for taxation. But the thing is, at the same time, if you don't have sufficient income and your source of income are these modes only, so then government also provides certain sections under which you can take exemptions of the same things. So the key aspects of tax planning is very important. Next is retirement planning. Retirement planning is very important, as each and every person who is young will also go through the phase of older, right? So at this time, retirement, that is in early age or at the proper age, whatever it is very important to make a planning for that. For this, we have the mutual funds and the PPF, that is the retirement that are the schemes, pension schemes, which are provided by the central government for each and everyone, whoever the person who have the proper salary or who don't have proper salary, especially for the person who are working in the private organization or working as a labor. Each and every person can go through the pension schemes that is provided by the central government, and for the provident funds also, that the person is working in the private sections, then we have the provident source of provident fund also in order to make the planning for the retirement. Next is investment diversification. It is this means that you should not spend on a single aspect only. That means if you are spending on a mutual fund, then you are sufficiently spending on that. It should not be there. Means you should spend some on gold also, in some in the area of the financial assets also, or the assets which can provide you good good return in the further areas, in the further extent or the year, I can say. So there are stocks have equity shares, preference shares, and the debts and other assets also, which can help you balance to make the proper diversification in the investment. So some are in the some aspect we can make investment in the banking sections also, that is in the fixed deposits also. So there are very lots of areas where we can spend, that is the investment diversification should be done, and these are plays the very vital role in the personal finances. So the next is how we can achieve financial literacy. So the we in order to achieve, we have the 5 key areas of personal finances, that is the money and income, money management, spending, debt, savings and investment, and risk management. Let us see what are these 5 areas are. So the first we have money and income. As we know that we have lots of expenditure like electricity bill, insurance premium, and other extra bills also are there, that is like rent and many other things are there. That means that we should take care of money, and as money as a time is money, and we are required to make sufficient proper investment, that in order to achieve our long-term targets. Next is money management, that is budgeting and prioritizing. That means what are the areas that we are required to prioritize. That means if, for example, a person who are having two children, their priority must be firstly to save money for their educational purpose, for education, to make for their higher education. So prioritizing depends on the person to person. It might be for the educational expenditure, it might be the area for the marriage section, it might be the area for the establishment of any new enterprises or the firms. So in any aspect, money management is very important, and the most important is the budgeting. So budgeting, that means the income and expenditure, which is the major area that everyone should keep watch. Next is spending and debts. Like what we are spending, or how much we are spending, where we are spending. It should be we should keep a proper watch on all these things, because spending on these things are spending on the various aspect is not very important, but to keep watch on everything, that our income, our expenses should not exceed our income. That this is very important section. Next is savings and investing. So saving is not like spending money on various things, that we are like we are giving money to someone else on the credit basis, and we are thinking that we are saving money. No, it's not like that. It might be that you won't get money back. So we should understand what are the difference between saving and investing. That investing means you are earning return on your money, whatever you have put it on it. That means like if you are spending money on fixed deposit in the bank, or if you are spending money on the stock market, in the stock market, or any other thing which can give you a proper return, that is the investing. And At the same time, saving is that you are just keeping money with yourself without spending anywhere. So this is the major difference. So what we are required in the personal finance, that we should invest, not we should spend. So saving is important, but the more important is what? Investment. Next is risk management. Risk management, under this topic, there are one to two, three points. That is insurance, understanding the market, and identity theft. That means insurance. See, we can, under this section, it is very important to know that insurance is not a kind of investment. It's a protection policy that we get to ourselves for anything, for mishaps that we or the unexpected events that can occur in the future. So that is how much under insurance there are lots of things that how much we are getting in return after as per the terms and conditions of the insurance, and how much we are going to give in the form of the money. So insurance is a form of also a risk. It means you can get your amount back or you may not. So it depends heavily on the terms and conditions. Next is understanding the market. If you're investing in the stock market, it's very important that we should know that how much money we are getting in return. Whether it can be like hello. Yeah, it can be like getting money, investing in the market, that wherever we are going to spend, it's very important that the risk management should be done. So what are the types of investment? So we have here lots of investment types, that is stocks, mutual fund, government bonds, post office schemes, public provident fund, bank fixed deposit, gold, and real estates. So as we know, stocks are the stocks market that we expand in the share market or in the debt debentures, or wherever in the bond market, wherever we feel comfortable that our investment are that we get good return in the investment. Mutual fund is known to everyone. Government bonds, that the bonds, there are several bonds like commercial papers and the many other bonds which we spend in a short term market to get the benefit. Next is post office scheme, that means the Kisan Vikas Patra and many other things, and the public provident funds, bank fixed deposit, gold, and real estate. Okay, let us see each of them in the next slide. So here are some points, and under the sub points I have divided all the schemes in a certain areas, like stocks, mutual funds, and government bond. So the first is point is risk. If we are spending heavily in the stock market, then our risk is very high, because it's not really like we will get a sufficient return on that. It might be that you may get a loss also. If we think about the stock market, the return it highly depend that we can also get high return on that. So it's a subject to the totally risk management. So it should be properly studied first, then we should then we can invest in the stock market. Next is tax impact. That is, the capital gain tax will be calculated based on your gains. Capital gain is the thing, it's a form of tax that we make a payment of tax on the purchase of shares. So under the Income Tax Act. So the next is for the purchase and share, we are required to open demat account, that is dematerialized account. Next is we have mutual fund. Mutual fund is that risk depends on how much we spend and which type of fund we choose. There is also a fund type of investing fund which is very risky, but at the same time we get also a high return also. And if we invest in a low type of fund with under mutual fund, then we will get the return that is of medium. So there will not be a heavy risk, but the risk will be there. So what is important here is KYC process is very important, and the mutual fund is done under the banking sections. So of course the KYC process is very much important to be followed. Next is fixed amount more than rupees 1,000. That means under mutual fund you can't start with the zero balance. It is very or under the 500. Above 1,000 you can 1,000 or more than 1,000 you can invest in the under mutual fund. Next is government bond. Under government bond, risk is very low because it is, of course, under the government section. So then we have the proper security for whatever we invest. And of course, but the returns at the same time we will get low. Since there is no subject to the market, any risk, that's why the return will be low. Next is it is a tax-free. Tax-free what? Because we are investing in the government bonds, we do not need to pay the taxes. And what is the requirement? Requirement is that we are required to open a demat account or buy in a paper form. What type of investment it is? So investment type is that is the fixed amount for more than 5,000 as one-time investment of with a specific period is required. That means if you are spending 5,000 at a one time, then you are not supposed to spend 10,000 or 15,000 at the same time in the same investment. Next is post office savings scheme. So here the risk is nothing. You can easily spend over in these schemes. Return is also very low, and interest is taxable. Tax impact is there, and requirement is nothing. And investment type is national savings certificates schemes and Kisan Vikas Patra or monthly income based schemes. Next, we have public provident fund. So risk is there is no risk. Return is medium. Tax there is no tax impact is not there, and under this it is open under the name of individual. You maximum saving cannot exceed 70,000. So lots of things are there that it is it can be seen that what are the requirement and what type of investment all these things are. Next we have the bank's fixed deposit. Since this is a very common thing, and I think most of the people known with this topic, fixed deposits. So the here the risk is very low and the return is medium as it is fixed by the RBI monetary policies. So the return varies depends on the interest rate. So and here interest is also taxable. So the next is we have the certain laws to create wealth or to preserve our wealth. What are these laws? So first is keep a part of all your earned, save at least 20% of your income. That means firstly, what is important that whatever you get as an income, it is very important to save it first. At least 20% or above you can, but depends on your expenditure also, because most of the time we can't just overlook our expenditures that is required. If it is required, then we have to spend our money. So at least 20%, we should keep in mind that at least 20% of income should be kept in a reserve. Next, put your savings to work for you, invest it so that it will multiply. So I've already said the difference between the savings and investment. So our savings should be done properly in the form of investment that we get multiplication of that. That means at least nothing that we should invest in the fixed deposit where the return is medium and there is no risk of getting of loss anything. Next is that is avoid debt. We should not take debts that in the form of even credit card also. We should avoid it as far as possible. And we should next is that we should keep our distance with the speculation schemes or the schemes which gives us fake promise that we get rich, and this kind of business should not be supported enough to for the savings of our amount or for the any type of investment. Next is invest in yourself or gain knowledge and skills to increase your earning power. So it is very important that we should invest firstly on ourselves. That is our investing on ourselves is important, because we are required to increase our knowledge and skills. If you are gaining that, if you are increasing that, ultimately your earning power will also increase. We can take the example that a person working in a company on the labor in a manufacturing company on a labor grade or as a worker, if he or she increases his knowledge or skills to the upper level, so what will happen? Ultimately, he will get upper position, his social status will also get increased, and here also the earning power will also increase. So it is very important firstly to invest on ourselves. Next is safeguard your growing fortune and diversification and insurance. So diversification of money, that means we should have diverse investment in the form of insurance also and for other things also, so that we can safeguard our future. So here are some points that we should avoid, that are the common financial pitfalls. That is not having an emergency fund. So it is very important firstly to establish our emergency fund, that unexpected events that arises at any point of time. So it is very important that we should keep eye on that, and we should keep a separate fund for that, whenever we get the emergency, we are not supposed to take our savings completely to these events. We should keep certain amount for the emergency fund. Next is spending more than you earn. There is a proverb in Hindi that is पैर उतनी ही पसारो जितने चादर हो, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. Means what? कि यहाँ whatever you earn, expenses should not exceed our earning. We should take care that we don't get sufficient investment in any kind of debt. We do not get any financial instability because of our expenditures or any spending. We should keep a eye on the track on the expenses, and we should create a budget. Next is not diversifying your investment. It is very important that we should diversify our investment. That means if you are investing in a Kisan Vikas Patra or any for the low risk purpose, that is that there should not be any risk of losing your money. It should not be there. There should be a proper diversification in the investment, so that we can get every type of return in the long term. It can the return, investment can be of a risk, as I've already shown all the topics of types of investment. So we should give a proper diversification our investment. Next, not planning for retirement. It is also a very important topic that it should not be avoided. Planning for retirement, because we are required to get financially secure in our future. So the retirement, so the planning is very important for this section also, in order to do not get any financial stress or instability in our old age. So these are some common pitfalls that we should avoid. So secure your financial future today. That is very important. If we invest wisely, properly, and make a proper financial decision, then we are not going to meet any unexpected events or any instability in the future or in the old age. So it is very important. And financial security is not only important for ourselves, but also for the family or for anyone, whoever you love. So it might be possible that anybody from your family even can meet to any kind of emergency. So at that time, we are not supposed to take our savings or any kind of savings totally completely to these kinds of event. We should take care that we should make an emergency fund, and we should make diversification in our investment. We should make proper planning for the pension funds as well, for the retirement sections. So these are the certain topics which are required to keep eye on that. So thank you for this section. Hello. Do you have any questions regarding this? Hello, Prabhakar sir.
Hello. Hello, Swami sir. Hello, madam.
Hello, sir.
Sorry, madam.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. No issue. The session has been over.
Oh, thank you, madam. I am Dr. Sadashiv Varote, presenting the vote of thanks of this today's session. Today's session was a very informative, knowledgeable by Bhavna Shrita madam. Thank you, madam, to accepting our invitation and giving a fruitful guidance for the financial literacy and personal finance. I am thankful to the chairperson of today's session, B.R. Bodke sir, the principal of our college. I am also thankful to all the dear participants, those who have participated for all over India. Lastly, thank you one and all to present this today's session. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
madam. This
ma'am,
is
for accepting our invitation. Thank you.